Hello everybody, and just here and welcome back to Bye Bye Earth episode 9, in which Belle will be officially named a nomad. I think so. Belle for sure. Perhaps Adonis as well, although that is still left up in the air a little bit. What happened in the previous episode? Let's maybe start with that. In the previous episode, there was the party, the ball, where Belle was invited by Shelley. Of course, she attended. She got a nice dress from Shelley. She got some jewelry and was in general prepared by her. And she attended. Of course, she wasn't alone. Other solists who basically won that previous battle were also there, right? Belle's party members, you could say. Guinness, Bennett, even Kitty the Owl was there, although they deemed it unnecessary to dress up like Belle did. The party was going well. We even had Shelley sing a little bit, and seemingly not even for the purpose of... Yeah, that's gonna be better. Not for the purpose of doing anything special with her singing, but rather for the purpose of, just singing for entertainment, doing something for the guests. So that was nice. A little bit of, dare I say, character growth for her. Maybe you could probably treat it as such. And unfortunately, the party got kind of broken up by Kir Royal. Kir, whose sword has been fixed by Adonis, right? Merged with Tiziano's sword. What do you know? Merging a sword with a sword that turned a person into a Nidhogg produces a sword that turns a person into a Nidhogg. And that's exactly what befell Kir. He even got a full, evil general attire in the meantime. I wonder if the tailors were giving him some weird looks, or maybe it was just the case of him saying, well, that's what God apparently decided, and they're like, oh, yes, of course. I mean, we need the evil guys after all, right? So only the best evil attire for you, sir. Perfectly understandable. Probably. I can easily see it going that way. He initially attacked Gav, and Gav was talking with Adonis then. Yeah, and Kir attacked them both. Gav managed to hold him off a little bit. Then Adonis had to step in, but neither of them were able to do much to Kir. His goal was, of course, it got even to the point where the what are they called? The guys in hoods and masks and with chained swords, right? Whose purpose is to record what's happening, right, rather than take part in action. Even they were unchained, and even they were unable to stop Kir. Kir had his eyes only for Belle. Belle, who destroyed his previous sword, who whatchamacallit, who he had a grudge against, really. So, of course, he jumped straight into the ballroom, and not before Kir's rebellion, do you even call it rebellion? Kir's change was noticed by the god, by the tree, and the tree, of course, nominated Belle to be the one to fight Kir, because, duh, of course. Belle got some help early on from Kitty, who threw a flaming couch at Kir, but that was no use. Then Guinness and Bennett also attacked Kir, and that was no use either. So, of course, Belle had to be the one. She went to grab her sword, and she noticed that the sword is different somehow, except not. It wasn't the sword that was different, it was her. She kind of grew as a person. There are bits and pieces of the people that she met, that she fought Besides, right, all those people changed her, and now she's different. Now she can approach her sword differently. We didn't really see it to, particularly much. Belle was able to fight Kir, just as she always was able to fight. Maybe a little bit better, I don't know, kind of hard to judge that. She was able to damage Kir, of course, without much of an issue, because Kir has been overtaken by the sword, and so he no longer is a person, quote unquote. He now is a living sword, essentially, and Belle's sword is able to cut other swords. So it's not like Belle got over her curse of not being able to hurt people. Kira attacked Shelly briefly. Belle, of course, stopped him. She got a nasty gash along her arm, which was very quickly fixed with Sacred Ashes after the battle was done. In any case, she did manage to fight Kir and win against him. Kir, of course, unfortunately died. What Belle noticed in the process, though, is something particular about the tree. Early on, she asked the question in like very early episodes, why does the tree not look at me, or something along those lines, right? And now she noticed that the tree doesn't really look at anything or anybody, only at itself. And she created a theory that perhaps the Needhogs are somehow the messengers of the tree. We just don't really know what the message is exactly. And that would kind of check out, right? The tree is very... They called it like a cancer sword or something like that, right? The primordial sword that cancerously grew into a tree. And when a Needhog is created, you could essentially say that it's their sword taking over their body as a cancerous growth, right? And there are some similarities both to the shape of the growth between the god tree and the growth that the Needhogs experience, and the glowing symbols on them, right? There is a clear similarity. We just don't really know what the message that the tree is trying to send is. My personal theory is that perhaps the tree just wants to fucking die, but the devout believers will not allow for that to happen, and so the tree is trying to create Needhogs, creatures that will eventually break through and will eventually cut the tree down, but the king, priest, and the rest are just preventing that from happening. I don't know. It could really be anything in the end. Then we also got a scene of Adonis, of Belle, first of all, being alone and calling out Adonis in her monologues throughout the day, essentially. Adonis eventually showed up in her room and told her, go alone, right? Tomorrow you're gonna be made a nomad. You go there, don't wait for me. I don't know if I want to do it. I don't know if I'm worthy. I am death. I am destruction. I am evil, bad guy. I do not deserve being a nomad. And this whole entire depressing and self-deprecating spiel. Belle agreed tentatively, but also told Adonis that she was kind of hoping that they would travel together, and that would kind of make sense, right? She has something to find in the world, he has something to find in the world, why not travel together? Makes perfect sense. We'll see what Adonis does, although if the opening is to be believed, where Adonis and Belle are quite prominently present, then I would say that Adonis is actually going to join her. Maybe we're gonna have a bit of a fake out, right? Like Belle is given the nomad title, and then she goes out traveling alone, and eventually Adonis catches up to her, and he's like, oh yeah, I had a crisis of faith, but on the next day after you were nomadized, I also went to get myself nomadized. We can travel together now. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. We still have... I still don't know how many episodes this show is. Shit. I know now that Wistoria is 12 or 13, single arc, single core in any case. I don't know how many episodes Bye Bye Earth is. Curious. I wonder. We'll see. We'll see. What do I expect from today's episode? As I said, I expect Belle to get nomadized. Anything besides that? I don't know. Remains to be seen. So how about we see that? Right? Shall we? To do that, you're gonna need your subs, of course, to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show, and I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, YouTube down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word. It costs you nothing and helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching episode 9 of Bye Bye Earth in 3, 2, 1, go. Interesting. I mean, you could have said it to them, like, in person. You didn't need to say it to their ghosts. Or whatever those things were. I mean, I wouldn't want to stay in this place either. To be perfectly honest with you. It's really not the best place to live. The god decides that, you know what, the good ones, the top dogs need culling, and you're gonna go there and you're gonna get killed by the underdogs. That's destined for you. Oh well, and you just gotta do it. I mean, do you gotta? We weren't really shown any, like, rebels. Anybody who would be like, you know, yeah, I got the call from the god, but I'm just not gonna do it. Right? Nobody. Now you could say that, where are they gonna go if they were to deny that? And I would say, well, just go wherever. But apparently you gotta be a nomad to travel? But also, Belle traveled to this city while not being a nomad. So it's not really that you can't travel while being a nomad. The status of a nomad is something else entirely. Nomadization. Cross the borders gods set between lands. Does it imply that there are, like, different countries, essentially, every country having their own god, and they're separated by some magical barriers? And you can travel freely within the confines of a single country, but if you're trying to cross a border, you can't do that unless you're a nomad. I think that's how it works, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Everything makes sense now. If there actually are magical barriers between countries. A piano? A regular ass piano? Sure, keyboard vessel. Why not? Sure, of course. We wouldn't call it a piano, would we? Of course it's a keyboard vessel. Moonwork. Yeah, just do whatever. And then fucking Moonlight Sonata comes out. That's just the name of a company that made the piano, isn't it? Are we doing Oyukiyumi no Kaina here? Where, like, fucking road signs are seen as the ancient tablets from the era of gods, or... Right? Is that what we're doing here? Oh yeah. That's exactly what we're doing. Right, she was never able to play any music with desired effect, like growing crops and stuff. Oh boy. Will she be able to play an earthen instrument? A single key, but yeah. And what do you mean by that? Yeah. Oh, sure. Is that the language of the gods? Yep, that's the goal. Are we Gurren Lagann now? Hmm. Okay. So are you gonna play? What do you mean? Oh, Q Adonis appears and plays with her. Oh? No sound? Just a thump? Is there gonna be a next chance? Sure, maybe. No, he's just saying that you are an influence, and whatever your luck will cause. Don't kill Shelly's father. Okay, how are you gonna go on a journey without being a nomad? If there really are just magical barriers. Okay, so she's going on a journey without officially becoming a nomad. Is that it? Could it be that her sword will actually allow her to pass through the barriers? Utopia, right? That's the spell of her sword. A utopia is a world without barriers, right? To create a utopia, you break down the borders, you break down the barriers. Right? Yeah. That could be what allows her to go. I mean, you asked for it, mate. Mates, plural. Very good questions, actually, yeah. Oh? How did he block it? Just with his hand? I mean, yeah, that is your curse, indeed. You were able to wield the sword briefly when wearing gloves, though. So maybe consider going back to that. Actually, what would happen if Adonis were to touch God? It is a sword tree, after all. Would it just wilt and wither? Hmm. Sure, when they fight, yeah, but you weren't really in combat. What do you mean? What do you mean, dude? You're doing like Arcanite's story yap right now. uh, okay, so you're gonna take the trial after all? Going with him. If you're together, I'm assuming you're gonna be able to both pass it. Doubt. Cool. Very good question. Yes, also a very good question. My dude, you're asking all the questions that I have right now. Somehow I doubt you're gonna get an answer. But hey, really good questions. Oh, are there masks also swords that you're able to destroy them? Another very good question. Ah, of course. Everything is a part of the god's plan. Death and destruction. Oh, no bodies? Okay. Okay, so the ashes of the tried, or whatever it's called, turn people into Needhogs, and dead Needhogs turn into sacred ashes. Did I get it right? Hmm. Hello, Adonis. Oh, like one of your possible futures? Mechanized. What do you mean mechanized? Are all of those priests like Adonis's clones, or Kir? Oh, dead Needhogs get turned into priests? Yeah, seems to be the case. And what, the masks keep them from turning evil back, or yeah, no sound. You haven't tried every key. Traveling with Belle? Amazing music, by the way. Hello, Belle. No? Oh. I expected her to just enter the area right now. Is that Adonis's curse playing up? Or what was that? Well, we got some answers, but we got even more questions. Oh boy, this show. Black Feathers, that's the death messenger or whatever it's called. Whose death? Adonis's? What do you mean? Oh, Catacomb has the miasma. Gotcha. No, I don't think so. Your touch doesn't really have an effect on living beings, does it? It just withers swords. And sword adjacent items, right? Right, he doesn't want to be a priest and doesn't want to be turned into sacred ashes. No, I'm pretty sure that it actually requires to, if I'm to be honest with you. Adonis said that he has no reason to journey. Belle said that she can't, she can't play it because she feels lonely. Well, Belle wouldn't be lonely with Adonis, and Adonis would have a reason to travel with Belle. Okay, so I guess... Oh, well, that was not the best thing to say there, my dude. Also, maybe chill out with the grape, would ya? Please do, Belle. Honestly, at this point, please do. Adonis really started to piss me off right now. I mean, he started to piss me off even in the previous episode already, but he's just getting worse and worse. So just, mercy kill him and let's end this farce. Also, thank you for being here, Kitty D. Nothing. I'm glad you arrived just in the nick of time. Yeah, honestly, I mean, I'm perfectly fine with Belle traveling with Kitty. At this point, Adonis can just go fuck himself. Nowhere in English. An ancient spell, hey? Oh, and that's the episode. Silence of Keys Unplayed. Alrighty. Oh boy. Oh boy. Man, I really was hoping that when Belle said that she's unable to proceed because she's lonely, and then Adonis said that he's unable to proceed because he has no reason to, I really thought that they will be able to, like, save each other. And I really was kind of hoping for that, right? Belle being Adonis's reason and Adonis being Belle's companion. Perfect deal, really. But I think Adonis should just get his wish fulfilled and he should really just be cut down. Maybe in a way that doesn't leave him as a priest or a sacred ashes or whatever if he really doesn't wanna do that. But yeah, as I said, he really started to piss me off in this episode. There's only so much brooding that I can take. Not to mention the, like, ending here where he just attacked Belle. Howling Sword, Rusty Nail. Silk Song confirmed. Okay, let's watch this again, shall we? Yes, we shall. So it started well, right? It started really well. Belle having this vision, that was nice, right? All the people who were supporting her, all the people that she met along the way, all the people that contributed to her growth. Cool. Super cool. Belle making the decision to become a nomad. and yet being unable to. I mean, that's also fine. That's also perfectly fine. We can't have it too easy, can we, right? We can't have a very classic, I guess, progression of I want to travel, I fulfill all of the requirements without a hitch, and I'm able to travel, right? We gotta have a hitch along the way, and this is that hitch. Perfect. I absolutely don't mind that. Do so, and a spell to overcome divine barriers will be engraved within you. Right, a spell to engrave divine barriers. I really think that here it is. Bye bye Earth. First of all, first theory. Each country has its own god. I'm pretty sure I already made that theory before, but let it be restated. Countries are separated by magical barriers. Yeah, do so, and a spell to overcome divine barriers will be engraved within you. Another theory, being a nomad, both makes you an exile from every country, right? You essentially become, well, a nomad, someone who doesn't have a country, citizenship anywhere. But in exchange for that, you are given the spell to just go through the barriers wherever. Being a nomad, capital N, nomad makes a person able to cross the barriers, but also an exile from every country. Yeah, and one last theory that I had to this bit. What was it? Right, that Belle will be able to just cut through those barriers with her sword because Utopia is a world without barriers. Belle is able to use her sword to pass through because Utopia is a world without barriers. Right, this bit here. Do so, and a spell to overcome divine barriers will be engraved within you. What's this? Yeah, keyboard vessel. This is the key. Moonwork. I really think they're doing a bit of Oyuki no Kaina here. Oyuki no Kaina. Real world writing is divine. If you're unfamiliar with Oyuki no Kaina, I can heartily recommend that show. It's one of the very few CG shows that I actually enjoyed. The thing, it's not going to be much of a spoiler because it's clear from like the first episode, I think. In Oyuki no Kaina, but in any case, spoilers, right? Just in case. In Oyuki no Kaina, the tree where our main protagonist lives also houses some elders. Well, one elder in particular, who has a collection of sacred plaques or sacred boards or whatever they're called. And they are basically just warning signs from our real world. Like he has like a work site sign with wear your helmet when at the work site, beware of ditches and always look up, and shit like that. And this is like the writing of the past civilization, the writing of the gods and whatever, and it's sacred, quote unquote, to the point where they have special designated people who walk between village, like from village to village, and show their boards, their plaques, so that everybody in every village can learn those words and learn the writing and speaking and stuff like that. And I really think it's something like that they're doing here. Okay, spoilers end. Watch Oyukimi no Kaina, really good show. Spell from the Age of Gods, it means to do as the moon. Yeah, kinda, sorta. Spiral of progression and regression, to do as the moon is to regress while progressing. Alright. It goes on changing. Mystery from the Age of Gods. None now can fathom it. Right, lost technology of sound, of pianos, apparently. Going journeying and meeting Runding and coming to Park City have all been indispensable. All is free. This is my timbre. Yeah. So she was able to play a note. That's already much more than Adonis was able to manage. And I understand that which has the form of heart and mind. The form of heart and mind. Now here. The magic words of now here. You will exile yourself from divine law and take on a great curse, believing it will someday become a blessing. Right, so divine law is essentially the law that governs each specific country, or whatever they are called, a territory or whatever, what have you. So you exile yourself from there, but in exchange you are able to like walk between countries. You will bespell yourself to keep your own way alone wherever you may be. Well, that being alone, that's not a given. She could very well travel with someone. I'll go out of tune and let out a howl. When I do, a hole will open in the world me. And let my being truly blossom. This is what my sword taught me. Sure. But it won't work. This instrument expresses freedom, but I can't feel it as freedom yet. What do you mean by that? I don't know what she means here. Like, I completed all of the challenges that were set before me, and now I am truly free from them, supposedly, but I can't actually feel that freedom. Something to that effect? Maybe? I don't know, and because she doesn't feel it as freedom, she cannot manifest that freedom, right? Something like that. I feel so lonely I could go crazy, which is weird because, sure, Adonis kinda, distanced himself, so, okay, maybe she's feeling lonely because of Adonis, but she has so many more people, though. Like, she has Shelly, she has Guinness, she has Bennett, she has Kitty, she has Shandigaff, right? All those people are with her. They even made it a point, right, at the beginning of this episode to show Belle with all those people standing behind her and Belle talking to them, right? Your support is what made me be able to be here. And now she's all, I feel so lonely I could go crazy. But this is also what gave me the idea that maybe Adonis changed his mind and he's gonna run in and they're gonna be able to play the piano together. And that will make them both nomads, right? I was kind of hoping for that. Then you will forsake this trial. Do you accept permanent residence? No, neither. I like it. I like it. Like, one of the scant few, if not the very first one, act of rebellion, right? the god says, the priest king says, well, you can either try again or you can take a permanent residence here. And Belle says, neither. I'm gonna wait for my next chance. I'm gonna live here for a while longer and try to overcome whatever it is that ails me. And next time I sit on this chair, on the stool, I'm gonna be able to play it. I'm gonna be able to play the fucking Moonlight Sonata. But I'm not staying here permanently. Neither. Get fucked, God. You who reek howls. That doesn't really parse well to me. Reek chaos. Okay, reek as in inflict, I guess. Sure, okay. Reek chaos, you who inflicts chaos, you who creates... No, not chaos, howls. You who inflict howls? You who create... Huh? Oh, like... Your actions, your very being creates a situation where other people will howl, right? You are the reason for other people's howls, right? Something like that. Many will suffer unbearable worry when you journey forth. Yeah, sure. I can see Bennett having issues. He's imprinted on Belle right now. I can see Guinness, probably not, but Bennett and Shelley will most probably suffer. Belle leaving, not to mention Adonis. Kitty, he's probably tagging along. He's not gonna leave his beloved after all. Shandigav, I think he will understand and he's not gonna suffer particularly much. He might worry, but not to the point of howling. So, the howl of being you release will make it so. You know not what you reek. I'll think about it. Even if I can't play the key, I'll fight against the divine walls, and if I'm unlucky, I perish. This is the line that gave me more hope, right? That, okay, we're doing something different, right? Belle wanted to become a nomad, but becoming a nomad would be conforming to the rules of this world, and she's all about breaking them. So, not becoming a nomad, and yet traveling despite not being a nomad, that's perfectly like on point for her. And if she actually can use her sword to like cut her way open through the divine wall, or perhaps, dare I say, destroy that wall permanently, well, that would be extremely on point and extremely in character for her. Good. I would like to see that, actually. Belle, you know, leaving the city and everybody's like, what? You can't do that. You're not a nomad. You're one of the solists. To which Belle says, and who's gonna stop me exactly? Right? Like, okay, the god says you can't leave if you're not a nomad, but there's no one really like enforcing that, so I'm just gonna go, you know. Cheers, and you stay if you wanna, but I'm not staying. I'm going, right? As simple as that, indeed. Meanwhile, Adonis gives back their swords. I'll take over your position. So, are they now trying to fight for the position of an examiner? Or what exactly is their hope here? Do they really just hope to defeat Adonis? Adonis question. I'm assuming that's where he's gonna get this moniker. Because I don't... Has he actually been called Adonis question yet? I'm not sure. He's listed on AniList as Adonis Question. That's why I know this surname. I wonder if he's going to get this moniker later on. What is a solace? What is a sword? Yeah, very good questions. I'm a partial corpse. What do I want from this world? That I was born cursed and cast out. I felt like I truly could want some. I felt like I could truly want something. I could truly become alive. Yeah, you can. So just give in to it instead of fighting against that. It's really as simple as that. I can't help thinking it's a tool for exiling yourself. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. You use the piano, you play a note, you are given the power to cross the borders, but you also become an exile. That's what it is, but not just that. It is a tool for exiling yourself, yes, but it's also a tool for giving you the power to cross borders. If you believe you can see in the dark and trust in that, yeah. I'd like to try fighting back my own way. Voice my doubt, yeah. Plenty of questions, amazing music. Why did you send me to spread the ashes of the tried? Sir God. Everything is part of the harmony our God arranges. That's like the most absolute fucking bullshit answer you could ever give. Like, complete and utterly useless lie. Like, I understand why he says it, because, I mean, it is what it is. God wills it. Deus lo vult and all that, right? But it's such a bullshit response. And your doubt departs not one step from the law of theme. Right, it was predicted that you will rebel. The fruits of your swordplay, yeah, no bodies. The ashes of the tried are scattered so that the divine tree may grow branches and support its roots. So I think the theory continues that God turns people into Needhogs and feeds this way, essentially, right? Growing branches, supporting roots, yeah. Only after infecting solists as deathly ashes can they become sacred. So, Needhogs, when they die, I assume they turn into sacred ashes, right? Cancerous sword is steel whose cells multiply without limit. Yeah, I mean, that's the very definition of cancer. Through quietus, it dies at death and bestows eternal survival. Right, so the sacred ashes of the tried are like come from the divine tree, the cells of the divine tree, or the spores of the divine tree. Ashes of the tried are spores of divine tree. They infect a solist, and then when the solist dies, the growth stemming from the spores also dies through quietus, and then those cells turn into sacred ashes. Yeah. Thus, our God bestows a greater receptacle for your control. Hence your role as the examiner, hence your role as Prince Fatal. Well, that's the first time we hear that. Our God has already woven that which you seek into the divine harmony. Okay, so basically the divine harmony is fluid. If something goes against the god's plan, the god says, haha, but I was planning that all along. It's part of the harmony, right? Is that what it is? I think that's what it is. It doesn't rot, yeah, apparently. And another Adonis. Sure, I have no clue how that happened, but it happened. Just beheld yourself harmonized. Harmonized as in what? As in mind control to the point of being docile. That's one way, I guess, to understand it. You just touched yourself mechanized. What do you mean mechanized? Deus ex machina, sure, God in a machine. That's pretty much the only place where any mention of machines exists. Touched yourself mechanized. Are dead Needhogs not really, like, revived into being priests, but rather turned into mechanized puppets? Something like that? Like, whenever a Needhog dies, their body dissolves into sacred ashes, but their soul, essence, data gets reabsorbed by the divine tree, and the divine tree can use that to create a machine in their image. Right? You shall become one of our God's records. Yeah. Your essence recorded, written on disk, so that the nanomachines that the god consists of can be shaped into the form of Kir Royal, for example. Yes, that's nanomachines, son. That's what it is. That's absolutely what it is. Divine tree. Cancer is nanomachines. Swords are made of nanomachines. Ashes are nanomachines. Divine tree keeps a record of the essence of Needhogs, can recreate them from its cells, nanomachines, to serve as priests. That's what it is. That's absolutely what it is. At least the blue priests. The yellow ones, they don't act this way, so probably not. But the blue ones, yeah. They offer themselves to our god at your hand. Witness them modeled, right? Like 3D modeling. And now they consist solely of the divine tree's cells, right? Notice how only the head remains the shape that it was, but the entirety of the rest of their body turns into those tentacles. Yeah, their bodies are just made of nanomachines. You cannot escape, there's but one way out. Yeah, play it, but he cannot. Because he has no reason to go on a journey. And that's why I really thought... And here's another moment where I was hoping for a rescue, right? Just like I was hoping for Adonis to arrive when Belle said, I can't play it because I'm lonely. I was hoping that Belle is gonna arrive here because Adonis has no reason to go on a journey. Belle comes in, says, well, let me be the reason. I'm going on a journey. Come with me. Right? And they play the piano again. Everything goes well, lived happily ever after and all that. I was hoping for that. Swear to become part of this land's foundation. Nope, not gonna do that. Instead, he's gonna release purple miasma that scares the Needhogs away, and even the divine, the priest king, who says, in the end, even you. Even you what? And what do you mean even? Comparison to Belle? In the end, even you denied us? In the end, even you were unable to do that? I don't know. Yeah, PK glows red and then disappears. My eldest brother is dead. The miasma of death ate away at him. Yeah. Save me, Belle. Why am I the only thing my hands won't wither? I've never known my mother's warmth. I don't know what warmth is. I've only lived so I can fully die. Right. They I learned where the dead go to their eternal rest, and I don't want to go there, right? I don't want to become sacred ashes. I don't want to become a priest. I don't want my consciousness to be uploaded to the nanomachine supercomputer. Fight me. Sure, I mean, if that's a solution, then yeah, please do. It would be better than whatever the fuck Adonis tried to do here. Neither one of us. I've never felt anything like this in my life. Who else would ever see you as a woman? Well, shit, my dude. That's like second strike. Forcing Belle onto bed. I mean, that already is a big, huge fucking strike. Then telling her in no uncertain words, nobody will want you but me. And then proceeding to force a kiss, trying to dissolve her clothes. No, my dude. Nope. You don't fucking do that. And I really hope they don't try to do the whole shtick of, oh, poor Scrimblow was just confused. Belle is willing to forgive him because, you know, he was just confused about his life and he deserves to be, you know, forgiven. And they're gonna end together and when next time he tries to dissolve her clothes, she will be willing. No, the fuck you don't do that. I really hope it doesn't go this way. Like, honestly, at this point, to be perfectly honest with you, Adonis is lost to me. Adonis is lost to me. Maybe, big maybe, if you give him a redemption arc of some sort, and I'm not telling an episode of Adonis approaching Belle saying, I'm sorry and everything is good in the world. No, I mean a fucking 12 episode arc. Maybe I would be willing to tolerate him again. And that's a big maybe. Thankfully, Belle has Kitty with her. And Kitty works as a very good deterrent for Adonis, apparently. Good going there, Kitty. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad your rabbity ass was in Belle's room and chewed on that fucking bed. She's bruised. That's a bruise on her stomach. It's not something you come back from by saying, I don't know what I was doing. Why do I fear that this is what they're gonna do? Like, by the end of this core, Adonis and Belle are gonna be traveling together, kissing, being all lovey-dovey and whatnot. Why do I fear that's gonna happen? Maybe because they really were way fast with building their relationship. Like, way fucking fast. And I think they might want to speed through his redemption arc just as much. Just to be able to set them up together. I would much rather, especially after this scene, nowhere, Adonis disappears, especially with this. I would much rather Adonis becomes the villain. Honestly. I would much rather have this tragic moment, just like what Adonis had when fighting Tiziano, right? I don't want to fight you. I feel guilty for what happened to you. We were friends, right? I don't want to fight you, but I must because you're evil. I would rather have a tragic ending to Adonis like that. Belle doesn't want to fight him, but she just has no way around it. And maybe she doesn't deal the killing blow. Maybe Adonis, I don't know, offs himself in the end. Or maybe Kitty deals the final blow, or Shandigaff, or Guinness, or Bennett, or whoever the fuck. Right? I would rather it goes this way, rather than some piss-poor attempt at redemption. But the after-credits scene really doesn't make me too, too hopeful for that. With yeah, that was the sword, right? Adonis being taken care of by someone, one of the blue priests, Tiziano, maybe? I don't know. Maybe... Was that Cian? Maybe it was Cian. Howling Sword, Rusty Nail. Yeah, Howling Sword, probably like Belle's or Adonis's. Rusty Nail, I don't know. Adonis being taken care of by someone like that really makes me afraid that they're gonna go for the whole... In a single episode, Adonis found a goal in his life, and he went to Belle, he said sorry, she said cool, and they kissed, and they're gonna be traveling together. I really fucking hope not. I really fucking hope not. Oh well. Oh well. Well, that was an episode and a half, wasn't it? We got some much needed answers, right? What are the sacred ashes? What are the ashes of the tribe? Where do they come from? What are Needhogs, right? We got all of that, and that's cool and all. We also got plenty of questions, though, like why a piano of Moonwork brand or made by Moonwork Company or whatever is apparently at the forefront of making nomads, right? Where do the magic barriers between countries come from, right? the nature of the god, I mean, we could surmise that it actually is made of nanomachines, and I think that's probably the best theory right now. But there are still so many unknowns up in the air, right? So we got answers, yeah, sure, but we also got a metric fuck ton of questions. And that's good, though. That's good. Because the fact that we got answers means that they are willing to give those answers, right? So we can have a certain certainty that whatever questions are asked will get answers, just as the answer to the question about the ashes did, right? So that's good. Establishing that answers exist and that answers can be eventually given. If they're not doing a Tact of Destiny, which had only questions and very little answers, if any. So that's good. I gotta say, though, first the good things, right? I really liked Belle's decision. I really liked the way it went, right? She was unable to become a nomad, and I wouldn't mind either way. I wouldn't mind if she was able to become a nomad eventually, perfectly fine. I wouldn't mind if she never was able to become a nomad and instead decided to travel despite that, right? Big middle finger to the rules of the world, big middle finger to the divine walls, big middle finger to the entire system. She goes where she wants without becoming a nomad. That would be so on brand and that would be so cool. But as I said, I wouldn't mind Belle actually becoming a nomad either. So that was good. The whole thing with Belle not being able to become a nomad so early, good. I liked it very much. Adonis, though, pisses me off. Like, I understand his thinking to a degree, right? Everything I touch dies, everything I touch withers. I kill the swords, and swords are more precious to the people of this world than their own lives. So for Adonis to kill swords is equivalent to killing his soul, or not being able to get a soul despite his body not dying, basically, right? So I can see why he says that he's part corpse and that he was never truly alive, yada yada yada, right? The entire shtick. Sure. But his endless, ceaseless fucking depresso is really getting old. On one thing is that it's just getting old. Seeing him constantly brood and constantly try looking for solutions, but then denying those solutions. Like, I have nothing to travel for. Well, find that reason. I could almost feel like I had goal in life when I meet Belle. When play into it, talk to Belle, try to figure out a reason to travel. Belle might become that reason, right? Like, there are solutions, so try to look for them instead of just being this fucking miserable. And that alone would be fine, because at that moment when he was just brooding like that, I could see a very easy out, right? He talks to Belle. Belle says, hey, I'm lonely and that's why I couldn't pass the trial. You don't have a reason to pass the trial. Let me be the reason. And in exchange, quench my loneliness, right? Something like that. Make it as poignant as you want it to be, or as simple as you want it to be, sure, but it would be just cool, right? Very poetic that they are dependent on each other in this way, right? Very poetic that they get to travel together, they have a common goal in some way, right? It would be cool, it would be very fun. I could see that happening, because it would mean that, and because of that, I wouldn't have minded Adonis's brooding, because ultimately it would have culminated in something good, something cool, right? But now, in this episode, Adonis tried to sexually assault Belle. I would even go as far as to say that he didn't try, that he did it. And that's where my goodwill towards him kind of ended. Because you can't really just easily redeem this character now, right? Like, you could have redeemed him before that in an episode or two. Sure, absolutely. Adonis finds a reason, he turns a new leaf, Belle finds a companion, Adonis decides to give away all the swords or whatever, make amends. Sure, whatever, sure, perfectly fine, right? Ultimately, he didn't do that much evil, right? He just stole some swords, he just killed some people who attacked him, whatever. We can forgive him in a single episode. But now the grudge is personal. He attacked the main character that we grew so attached to, that we came to love, right? And you can't redeem him by him just saying, "I'm sorry, Belle, I don't know what came over me." Not after he forced her onto bed, not after he dissolved her clothes, not after he said, "Nobody would want you, nobody would see you as a woman but me." That's textbook abusive relationship. Fucking textbook. If you leave me, you won't find anybody else. If you leave me, you won't be able to afford to live. If you leave me, you will be left with no people around. You will die alone. If you leave me, you won't find love ever again, right? I am the only one who's attracted to you. Look how fat you are. I'm the only one who can see through the layer of that. Look how ugly you are. I'm the only one who sees you for the inside, right? Shit like that. That's textbook abusive relationship. And it's not something you excuse with little Scrimbler was confused. As I said, I personally would need a proper redemption arc, proper full redemption arc for him to be able to tolerate his presence, right? Give him a couple of episodes of traveling without Belle, traveling alone, trying to find a reason, trying to, make heads or tails of his head, trying to make amends to the people, saving an orphan, feeding a stray puppy, and, doing stuff like that. Give me a couple of episodes of that, and I will be accepting of Belle and Adonis meeting and talking and going their separate ways. Give me a couple more episodes of Adonis making amends, and I would be fine with Belle and him traveling together, as long as there are no romantic undertones. But I don't think we're gonna spend this much time trying to redeem Adonis. And that's my big fear right now. Yeah. I guess we'll see where it goes, right? No point crying over milk that hasn't been spilled yet, right? Yeah, I think that's gonna be it for now from me for today. But maybe you guys have something more to add on the topic of this episode of what the fuck happened to Adonis, right? Do you have an opinion on that? Would you be willing to forgive him earlier, maybe? I don't know. Tell me all about it in the comments below. What did you think of this episode? I'm really curious to hear that. What did you think of my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? Say so in the comments down below. No spoilers, please. I beg of you, spoilers can go to my Discord if you really want to leave them, but other than that, please no spoilers. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to be notified of future videos, not only Bye Bye, but also Wistoria, Spice and Wolf, Isekai, Shikkaku, QA Isekai, plenty others coming in the future. Click the bell to be notified when I go live, because I do go live sometimes. Support the channel if you want to monetarily on Patreon down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows, and for just $1 you get a roll onto Discord and a place in the credits. You can also support me directly through YouTube, through super thanks, super chats, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you don't have to. Share my content, spread the word, it costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my one for Patreons: QB, Without an Edza, Rene, Sam Greenwood, UK Ally, Dr. Wataka, Master Marsh, Fasal, and Hans Peter. And you can join them if you want without having to go through what Belle had to go through.